Hello, my name's Paul, otherwise known as Cyber Artist, and this poetic tale is called A Kingdom's Folly. Ah, my friend, you look weary from your travel. Please sit a while, and let your worry slowly now unravel. What's that you ask? Do I know what happened to this place? Oh, 'tis a story sad but true, that transcends both time and space. The ruins where we sit, where once a fortress stood, where nobles trod upon this stone, devoted to doing good. For thousands of years, the guardians of us all, until a clever enemy plotted its eventual fall. King Cyrus had led the house for nearly all his life. Now old and frail, he missed the queen, his loving wife. Their love for each other was known throughout the land. But sadly, she had slipped away while the king held her hand. The court was in turmoil. A young prince, now with muscle to flex, while King Cyrus drifted between this world and the next. The court was full of advisers, all keen to help the prince, but some had selfish plans. Their treachery would make you wince. One such lowlife, whose name I shall never forget, a Draylon scum by the name of Gob, was an unknown threat, convinced him that a union with a princess from the west would create an alliance to suit the kingdom best. I'm sure the king would like to see his son in married bliss, his kingdom sound and stable before he enters life's abyss. Oh, his evil tongue twisted the prince's heart towards this plan, created by the Draylon king, to overthrow this land. And so a meeting was arranged, and soon a wedding planned. The king so weak he could not see the evil now at hand. The princess was coached by the king, her evil dad, to plunder this kingdom for all the wealth it had. The wedding was a grand event, with nobles from around the globe, and no expense had been spared to create the royal robe. The feast went on for hours, but in the chamber of the king, King Cyrus drew his last breath, as to life he could no longer cling. The prince was at the table when they whispered into his ear, and sadness drew across his face, but he did not shed a tear at Gob's suggestion. While the guests were still in place, the prince his kingdom should now embrace. So after the burial, while all were gathered still, the prince was crowned as king. 2 birds did they kill. The new king, still saddened by these events of life, listened foolishly to Gob and his new queen and wife. Send your forces to the south, our borders there are weak. The king of Calyx is a drunken boor and a cheat. If that is what you advise, so be it, said the king, and the armies that protected him left for Calyx Springs. King Nor of Calyx took offence and considered it an attack, and sending all his forces, ordered them to fight back. And these soldiers faced in battle, while no reason was in place. The bloodshed and the carnage was catastrophe and disgrace. Meanwhile, to the west, the Draylon king led his army across this land. The queen commanded the gates be opened, all part of what they planned. There was no mass resistance, no soldiers left to defend, and they plundered, raped, and pillaged under the guise of a friend. The palace, now in ruins, filled with the stench of death. A smell, I fear, still lingers here Worse than the dragon's breath, the queen and Gob returned with the Draylon king. I can hear their laughter as they recounted their sting. What's that, you ask? What happened to the fated king who put his faith in evil and lost every single thing? Well, he's destined to walk these ruins, reliving every day and recounting these events to all that pass this way.